this program, we're going to look at Christmas celebrations and symbols in some parts of the world. We'll start by looking first at the origins of Christmas. The word Christmas comes from the word Christis Massa, meaning the birth of Christ. But in fact, scholars today are not sure of the place or year of Christ's birth, let alone the precise date. So why then was December the 25th chosen as the date to celebrate the birth of Jesus? The earliest Christians did not celebrate Christmas at all, but as the faith spread, more and more people felt that Christ's birth should be celebrated. The date chosen varied from place to place. Many groups celebrated it as part of the already established Festival of the Epiphany, which began on January the 6th. Arguments about the date of Christmas continued until the year 350 AD, when Pope Julius I declared December the 25th the official date. Unfortunately, this still didn't settle the confusion about the date. And because the Western and Eastern churches use different calendars, Christmas today is still celebrated on different days around the world. What is important, however, about the date chosen was that at this time of year there were several other non-Christian festivals in many parts of the world. December the 21st, just 4 days before Christmas, is the winter solstice in the Northern Hemisphere, the shortest day and the longest night of the year. The passing of the year's darkest day meant the return of the sun and the days becoming longer and longer. To people living off the land, this meant a lot more than it does to most of us today. Food was always scarce during winter because of the short days and the cold. Many cultures celebrated the solstice by having festivals at this time of year. The ancient Roman festival, Saturnalia, was held between the 17th and 24th of December in honor of Saturn, the god of farming. It was a time of present giving, drinking, feasting, peace and goodwill. December the 25th was also the date for celebrating the birth of Mithra, the god of the sun. The Mithra religion came from Persia and was an earlier religion to Christianity. The worship of Mithra shared many similarities with the newer Christian ceremonies. There was a baptism, a sacred meal, Sunday as a holy day, a heaven and a hell. Whether Christianity took over these traditions from Mithra, we cannot know. We only know that Christmas today is celebrated on Mithra's birthday. In Northern Europe, winter was the time for the Yuletide celebrations, festivals which date back to Viking times. At the first snows of winter, livestock which could not be fed during the long winter had to be slaughtered, and there would generally be a feast to follow this sacrifice. Officials of the Christian Church told their priests to make the winter feast a Christian festival. Pope Gregory wrote in 601, "Let them not sacrifice animals to the devil, but to the praise of God kill animals for their own eating." So in fact, many of the customs we think of as part of Christmas have both Christian and pre-Christian origins. The custom of giving gifts dates long before Christianity. Romans gave each other presents at Saturnalia and Kalends. And in the frozen northern countries, the winter god Odin was supposed to have given children gifts during winter. The church encouraged the giving of gifts, following the example of the three kings who gave Jesus the gifts of gold, frankincense and myrrh. Different countries adopted their own gift bringers. In Spain, children received their presents at Epiphany from the three kings. In Italy, La Befana, A kind old witch riding on a broomstick delivers the presents. She flies from house to house, filling stockings or shoes with presents. The story goes that La Befana was told by the shepherds of the birth of Jesus, but was too late setting out and so missed the star. The same story is told of the Russian gift bringer Babushka, who goes from house to house leaving presents in the hope that the baby Jesus will be there. For many centuries in Denmark, it has been a custom to leave out a bowl of porridge on Christmas Eve for the little elves called the Nisser. These elves were once believed to be companions to the god Odin, but today are known as helpers to the Danish Santa Claus. In Germany, the Lutheran Church changed the gift bringer from St. Nicholas to an angel messenger of Jesus called the Christkind or Christ Child. She comes on Christmas Eve, ringing a little silver bell, leaving presents for the whole family. Nowadays, the modern Santa Claus is becoming popular in Germany. In fact, Santa Claus is now the most common gift bringer figure in many parts of the world. Santa Claus, as we know him today, is actually a mixture of St. Nicholas and a much older pre-Christian spirit from the winter Yule festivals of Northern Europe. Although he is considered a kind and generous figure, the ancient Yule figures he comes from were much more terrifying. Masked figures from Yuletide days still survive in parts of Europe today. One of these is a shaggy-looking bogeyman, often dressed in fur or with a mask. He is called different names in different places and carries sticks of birch for punishing naughty children. This frightening companion to St. Nicholas, who stood for the forces of evil, was more common in the past than he is today. St. Nicholas himself was a bishop in Myra in the 4th century. The St. Nicholas tradition is still very strong in Holland, where every year in mid-November, Sinterklaas, as he is known, arrives by boat from Spain. Many stories are told of St. Nicholas's kindness to children, and so it is believed that on the 6th of December he will bring presents to the children of Holland. He comes with his servant called Black Peter, who was once a scary character dressed in furs. Today, although he still carries birch rods, he's kind and friendly. Dutch settlers took the Sinterklaas tradition to the United States, where he became Santa Claus. About 100 years ago, American illustrators turned the dignified St. Nicholas into this jolly old elf. The new Santa Claus wore a brown fur suit decorated with holly. The figure of Santa travelled to England, where he joined an ancient character from the old mummers' plays called Old Christmas or Father Christmas. Santa Claus changed into the round, jolly character he is today. There is little trace of the old bogeyman of the past. While Santa is much less frightening today, children still believe that Santa will not give them presents if they have been naughty. No one knows exactly why it's thought that Santa comes on a sleigh pulled by reindeer. In the snow-covered forests of Northern Europe, reindeer have always played a large part in myths and legends. People relied on reindeer for transport, food, clothing, just about everything they needed. The ancient Norse spirits may well have travelled by reindeer. In many parts of the world today, Santa Claus is becoming so popular He is taking over from many of the earlier gift bringers. So popular that in some parts of the world, businesses have set up teaching people how to be Santa Claus. These trained Santa Clauses will be in great demand in many stores and shopping centres. Christmas today has taken on an extra meaning. In many places, it is the busiest time of the year for the stores. For example, in Australia, in the trading months leading up to Christmas, some stores will rake in as much as they would in the other 10 months during the year. Glossy advertisements urge us to buy at Christmas time. Santa can be seen advertising anything from clothes, toys, dishwashers, you name it. And the end result? The custom of decorating houses with evergreen branches dates back to the winter solstice festivals, long before Christianity. Evergreens were brought into the house as symbols of continuing life. Some of the early churches tried to stamp out these superstitious practices, but did not succeed. Like many other customs, evergreens ended up as part of the Christmas festival. Holly, once believed to give protection from witches and evil spirits, came to represent Christ's crown of thorns. The Christmas tree became very popular in Germany in the 19th century because of an unfounded legend that it had been invented by Martin Luther. The trees were originally decorated with candles, symbols of light and of the church. Today, Christmas trees are big business in places like the United States, where tree plantations have been set up especially for Christmas sales. The first records of Christmas trees being sold came from Germany over 300 years ago. It was America that introduced the custom of the very large Christmas tree stretching from the ceiling to the floor. The invention of the electric light revolutionized the Christmas tree. Electric lights replaced the original candle decorations, which had caused many fires. Light, traditionally a symbol of the triumph over the powers of evil, in the Christian faith symbolizes Christ, the light of the world. One symbol of light is the Christmas lantern, originally made for use with candles. To make a lantern, you must first cut out the shapes you want. Different colored papers or cellophane make a lantern a beautiful Christmas decoration. The Christmas card is one of the most modern customs. Cards became popular following the development of the printer and of the postal system. The custom of making a nativity crib showing Christ's birth was popularized by Saint Francis of Assisi over 500 years ago. The custom spread to many parts of the world. In southern France, nativity cribs are decorated with small figures called santons, or little saints. The tradition of making these figures started nearly 200 years ago in the south of France. First, The figures are moulded from clay. They are carefully shaped before being baked in a kiln and then painted by hand. They depict not only the traditional Christmas figures, but French village characters dressed as they were a century ago. Almost all West German cities have large Christmas fairs located near churches and cathedrals. The hundreds of lamplit stalls decorated with evergreen sell Christmas decorations, crib figures, toys, and special Christmas foods. This carver works all year round, doing nothing else but creating figures for Christmas sales at the famous Christkindlesmarkt at Nuremberg. When finished, these figures will tell the entire story of the birth of Christ. In Poland, crafters have been creating special Christmas models called szopki for centuries. They're made mostly out of paper and wood and have famous modern poles like Lech Walesa, as well as historic figures. The models are put on show in the center of the old part of Krakow, Poland's medieval capital. After Christmas, they will be sold. The Christmas feast owes a lot to pre-Christian festivals like that of the Romans and of the winter solstice. In England, the wild boar was a traditional Christmas dish for many years. Today, the pig, the boar's relative, is still important in many Christmas feasts. The peacock was also a specially prized dish and would be served with much ceremony at the Christmas dinner. Today, the Christmas turkey or duck are the most popular meat dishes, even in places like Australia, where Christmas falls in summer. Polish families will sit down to a large supper, which has no red meat, but includes fish, vegetables, and a cake made from honey and poppy seeds cooked in a wood fire stove, and homemade berry wine. In Poland, as in many countries, feasting is also the time for dancing and singing. Tradition has it that when the evergreen is up, musicians come to the houses. The traditional English plum pudding also has pre-Christian origins. It is usually decorated with holly and burning brandy, a reminder of the rebirth of the sun. Fruits and nuts, once Roman symbols of good luck at harvest time, are also eaten as part of the Christmas feasting. Today, Christmas is celebrated in many different parts of the world, even in countries where Christianity is not the major religion. The way it is celebrated differs from place to place and from culture to culture. And although it has become a public holiday in many of these places, Christmas is not celebrated by everyone. For some, Christmas is not so much a religious festival, but time for a holiday and having fun. In the southern hemisphere, Christmas falls during the hot summer months. The origins of Christmas in the old winter festivals of Europe and Rome seem far away. Today, the celebration of Christmas has taken on many new meanings. We're not surprised when Santa arrives by helicopter, or when we find him in several different shopping centres in the one day. Yet no matter how much Christmas has changed or how we celebrate it, getting into the Christmas spirit means thinking about others, not just yourself. This deaf boy is asking Santa, "What about you, Santa? What do you want for Christmas?" The customs for celebrating Christmas may be different around the world, but Christmas can still mean a time for peace, a time for giving.